I never left. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Where have I been? I'm back, bitches. So buckle down and wait for some good shows. 2026 is going to be hot. Did you guys hear about that lady whose husband cheated on her and she wanted to get revenge? So she waited that night for him to fall asleep to cut off his penis. But when she went to go cut it off, she missed and cut his thigh. She got charged with a misdemeanor.
Oh, hell no!
And microphone check 1, 2, Sipowitz. 1, 2, mic check.
What the heck does that mean?
Oh, hey, Jess. So that is actually something from Saturday Night Live back in the 90, 91. Remember the old Wayne's World sketches?
I do. Oh, yeah. Sipowitz.
So there was an episode where Wayne's cousin, played by Tom Hanks, was a roadie for Aerosmith, and they get Aerosmith to perform in the basement. And right before the musical performance, Tom Hanks gets up there and he's like, microphone check 1, 2, Sipowitz.
Okay, well, everybody, listeners, now you know. Now you know if you didn't already know. So my intro, I think it speaks loud and clear. Where have I been?
Where have you been?
Where have I been? Well, I'll tell you this. By the way, welcome back to the Chronicles, everybody. But here's where I've been. I've been a little clouded in my head. I've had a lot going on. And of course, it's not like me not to put out at least 2 to 3 episodes a month. And I believe I've only put out literally, and it's now going to be...
Have you put anything out this year?
Well, if you were a fan, you would know.
I'm a huge fan. I'm the executive producer.
Yeah, well, then you should freaking know.
Heck, I'm the executive sales manager.
Okay, Fargo. But anyway, I have been distracted. And I don't usually let that come before what's important to me. But I'm happy to report that I'm not distracted anymore. A lot of my stress has released. And I would like to dedicate this episode to the new Jess moving forward.
The new Jess.
I am no longer imprisoned by things that I couldn't control.
That's right. You've been set free.
And I have a wonderful attorney.
You do. The best.
Michael Blackstone.
The best.
I'd like to say thank you to Michael Blackstone, Blackstone Attorney at Law, Crystal River, Florida, and his beautiful wife, Martha Blackstone, who has came down like angels and straightened out my halo.
There you go.
They moved my horns out of the way to make my halo right in place.
The best.
Okay, so everyone, Dana, tell us how you woke up this morning.
Well, let's see. We're recording this on a Monday, and Monday is typically my day off from work. And one of the things that I kind of look forward to is that ability to be able to just sleep in. It's important, you know? I don't get to sleep in most days of the week. I have almost an hour drive to work.
Ugh.
Where I work. So I've got to be up pretty early. Now, to be fair, you do get up earlier than I do.
I have to. I don't have the luxury that you have.
But Mondays are the day. They're the day that we get to sleep in, where we don't set alarms, and whichever one of us gets up first, we'll take care of
Which
the
is
dogs.
usually me.
We'll take care of the dogs and
That's
all that
usually
good
me.
stuff. So as I laid my head on the gentle pillow last night, the last thoughts I had before I was whisked away into a perfect slumber was, it's going to be nice to sleep in.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that's not exactly what happened this morning, because around 6 o'clock in the morning, I feel something being wrapped around my head.
Okay.
And you said, hold on, I've got to measure you really quick.
Okay, everyone. So we're going to be going away on a Las Vegas getaway with the Barrows from the episode Flex Appeal, the couple that flex together, stay together. And I want to get Dana and I matching fedoras, but Dana's got an enormous head. It's huge. So I'm on Amazon trying to be lucky and find a hat that will actually match, will fit on his gigantic melon. So I went to my junk drawer I saw that the measurements for the fedoras, I said, okay, well, I need to measure his head. So I went and I didn't have my measuring tape. So I grabbed a phone charger cord and I snuck into the room and I just said, hey, you just keep sleeping. You just sleep. I just need to measure your head real quick. And I was trying to wrap this phone cord around his head. And it's like, so he was like Sloth from the Goonies. I mean, in fact, Sloth called and asked for his look back. And I needed the whole cord, the wall plug, even the adapter to put around Dana's head. It was so big. His head is so big that when he was born, the doctor said, "Congrats, it's a head."
That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Your hat size is the solar system.
You've been workshopping those.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No. What do you mean? No.
I just want to point out for the record, Amazon is remarkable in their delivery speeds. And I say this because I feel like whether you ordered the fedora at 6 a.m. or 11 a.m., probably still going to be delivered around the same time.
Only if you have that Amazon Prime.
So if
you're rich.
There is that question about, did it have to be 6 a.m. for the head measurement?
Well, I got a lot to do.
I know.
This podcast is sponsored to you today by Big and Tall Hats, the only company with a size called Good Lord. So I think a lot of people, and it doesn't have to be just women, because there's men out there who might be Mr. Moms, but do you get the luxury, ladies and Mr. Moms, of who's going to do the laundry? Who's thinking about the toilets? And who's thinking about the showers having mildew in them? I mean, I know who it isn't. So I don't get to just sleep in and then, I'm going to get up and podcast edit. Oh, and maybe I'll smoke a couple ciggies while I'm at it, And then your big job of the day is what? What is your big job of the day, Dana? Because it's certainly not picking up your socks.
We're just airing it all out there, aren't we? Tell me how you really feel.
So, where have I been? I have been getting my ducks in a row. Quack, quack. But Dana, you've got some interesting new endeavors that you've had, because everyone remembers Dana Buckler. You've been on my show, you're a frequent flyer, and my executive producer. What's new in your world? I hear that you've had a career change.
I have left the comforts of a standalone restaurant in favor of a position known as food and beverage director. Currently at the Country Club of Ocala, so I oversee not just one restaurant, but multiple restaurants and a banquet center and a staff, and it's been really great. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a huge adjustment for me. I work for the company that owns it. They own 47 clubs around the country, a big corporation, lots and lots of resources, so getting things done, it's more effective this way. When we had a problem at the last restaurant I was at, we didn't have the kind of funds that the big corporation has. So it was a lot of duct tape.
That would be my question for you. How do you like the family feel versus the corporate world?
It's a real balancing act, because there are some things when I was working for the privately owned restaurant that I could just do. I needed something done. I just did it.
Hence, firing people.
Yes, firing people, which is not something I like to do. But if somebody is not, fitting the mold of what we're looking for, if they're not doing the job that we need them to do, then, maybe it's not a good fit for them. Well, I've identified at my new position a few individuals that fit that mold or don't fit the mold. And my hands are pretty tied about getting rid of them. It's the most bizarre thing. And
without putting names out there, which we're not going to do, give us some examples.
Well, I had one person, there was one individual who it was pretty clear that they had a substance abuse issue. The telltale signs of that was there. But beyond that, this individual went to the restroom, and a couple of minutes later, another employee brought it to my attention that there's a half-open bottle of wine hidden in the restroom. And
what kind of wine?
It was a Yellowtail Pinot Grigio.
Oh, yeah, okay. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so what I did, the prudent thing, and I took the bottle out and I put it in my office and said to kind of put it out there that if anybody wants to claim this wine, they're welcome to come see me, and I'll be happy to give it back to them as soon as they can explain how it ended up there. And then to my utter dismay, 2 hours later, another bottle of wine. magically appeared in the bathroom.
Let me get this right. So you discovered, someone came, one of the other females came and brought it to your attention that they saw some wine in the bathroom, some yellow-tailed Pinot Grigio.
Yes.
They just happened to find it and they wanted you to know about it.
They did want me to know about it.
So they brought you to the women's bathroom. Mm-hmm. Did you go there alone with a woman?
No.
Okay.
No. So I asked them to hold the door open. So I went in, found the wine exactly where they said it was going to be, took it, put it in my office.
And then later on that day, about how many hours went by?
45 minutes.
And then did that same person come to you and tell you there's another bottle?
Yes.
Now, how do you know that person didn't plant that wine?
I know because that person was not a fan of the person, but that would be a pretty elaborate
that person
job.
Couldn't wait to squeal on another person, huh?
Yes. And so when I did finally, the issue was because everything is so buttoned up and by the book.
Your favorite.
I didn't see anybody go in there with a bottle. I didn't see anybody leave with a bottle.
It was probably there way before you started working there.
I knew I had my strong suspicions of who it was, but could not confront that individual because I had no proof that they brought it in. Now, if this had been my previous job, I would have handled it a lot differently. But my hands were tied. So I sat everybody down for a little pre-shift meeting, and I was talking about the specials, and this is the steps of service. And I said, oh, and by the way, just so we're 100% clear, there's no drinking on the job. Not if a member buys you a shot, there's no drinking on the job. All right? And whoever had the bottle of wine in the restroom and then put a second one in there, we're going to pretend that never happened.
Let's revisit this. Say I'm that person and I've got a little bit of a boozer problem and I like my wine, and I do like my wine. So I go into the bathroom because I can't keep from, I have to have it so much that I'm actually drinking on the job, and I hide it. Then when I go to get a sip of my wine, I notice that the wine's gone. I would have a red flag there, like what happened to my wine, who took it, and not have the guts to go put another bottle of wine there. I would have light bulbs going off left and right. Like, who's watching me? Eyes in the sky. Wow. Kind of like Robert De Niro in Casino.
That's right. Everybody's watching.
So I can't believe the mentality of that. It's almost stupid.
So I had to go about it a different approach. So that night, during dinner service.
Dana, is that your stomach I hear?
No, that's a 70-pound English bulldog licking my calf muscles.
Is he leaving skin behind? My God. Okay, listeners. I'm sorry about that.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Hey, Moose. Relax, buddy. Relax.
He must be tasty.
He just really wants to go on the show. He wants to know when you're going to give him his shot.
Either that or you are salty and stinky.
Okay. All right.
Okay, back to you.
So what I could do is I could thoroughly observe the suspected individual. I could observe their performance waiting tables that night. And they crashed and burned. Spectacular, almost like they had a substance abuse problem. I mean, it was, I finally had to step in, and I sat this person down with another manager and said, right now, you are not fitting my needs for night shift. So I'm taking you off night shift effective immediately. You can stay on lunch because nobody comes there for lunch. You might get one table. Week later, she quit.
So she's gone. Okay.
Yeah, problem solved.
All right. Well, so good.
But when she tried to justify the fact that she was doing a poor job waiting tables, you could tell she was very, very high on something because she was making no sense. She said, I come to work with a shoebox every day. I said, excuse me? She goes, yes, absolutely. And there's a scarf. I went, there's a scarf in the shoebox. She goes, I don't think you understand the power of roller skates. And I said, what? I said, no, we're talking about the table you forgot to take their order. And she said, oh, fly a kite with roller skates. Try it. And I was like,
what does that mean?
I said, are you all right? She goes, I'm fine. I don't make a lot of scratch.
Scratch.
I said, are you okay? And she says, listen, the stakes are in the closet. I said, okay. I said, I think we're done here. So
she's mentally ill.
Well, she's very, yeah. I don't know what the whole story was.
Okay. It is a huge change. Are you happy with your new career move?
I am. Yes, absolutely. It's been elevated to a different level. So, you know what? I'm wearing a sport coat to work every day.
And a performance fleece.
And a performance fleece when it's cold out.
Yeah.
And I got myself a nice pair of golf shoes. Can we talk about that for a moment?
I guess I know you're gonna. I know you're going with this, but okay, I'm gonna stick up for myself. But go ahead. Let's talk about the golf shoes.
One of the benefits of working at a prestigious private members only country club is it has a championship golf course. As a matter of fact, the PGA was doing a qualifier all last week, so we had like 120 professional golfers out there. It was pretty wild to watch them play. One of the cool benefits I get is in the golf pro shop. I get everything at 10% above cost.
Great.
So just to break that down, there's what the item actually costs and what we sell it for. Obviously, we sell it for more. We need to make a profit. So I get everything for 10% above cost, which is wonderful. I don't really take too much advantage of. We got a couple hats, but I was just staring at a pair of golf shoes and, they were pricey. They were really pricey. They had a hell of a markup on them. And I kept talking to one of our golf guys there and I was like, I just really like those shoes. And he said, how would you like them at cost? Not even 10% above cost, at cost. And we're talking about the difference between $200 and like $50.
So what'd you do? I already know you did.
So I bought the shoes.
You bought those things.
I love them.
Yeah, good.
I was so excited to bring them home and show you. And I remember, guys, still had them in the shoebox, and you were like, "Oh, you got yourself a nice pair of shoes."
That's what you needed. Nice shoes.
And then you opened them, and you said, without missing a beat, "Those are awful!"
Exclamation point. Here's the thing. They are so 70-year-old man. And let me ask, how much experience do you have golfing, Dana?
I'm taking up the sport.
Okay, when's your first lesson?
Didn't you get me a Callaway performance fleece?
Yeah. But no, so you're on a golf course. You're working for a country club that specializes in golf. People are going to assume that you know how to golf. They just are. And you look like a golfer. You just do. But you don't. You don't. What's next? A pogo stick? What's next? You're going to buy a hot air balloon? You don't golf. So you're spending this almost $80, for $200 shoes. But what are you going to do with them? They're going to sit in that box.
What are you going to say? This is like the time 2 years ago when I bought $400 worth of yarn because I thought I was going to take up knitting?
Actually, yes. Yes. I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, you could have taken that $80 and you could have bought yourself a really cool hip.
Hey, $50.
They were $80.
Oh, sure. They were around that price.
They were not $50.
They're somewhere around that price.
And they were ugly. At least if they were good looking, attractive, hip, I would be like, okay, those are some hip kicks you got there. But they look like the guy next door. We live in a 55 plus retirement community, everyone. And we're the youngest people on the road, on the street. And we're almost hated for it. But it looks like our neighbor next door.
But that's going to change.
Oh, are we allowed to talk about that?
Nope.
Okay. So moving forward. So, you have had a lot of experience in the hospitality business and industry.
Yes, I have.
You've had so many high, very prestigious restaurants that you've worked for, high-end, fine dining.
And some casual in my beginning years. I'm 32 years in the industry. I did have a run at Chili's for a little while back in the day.
But you are well noted around our area for being the guy, the golden boy,
right,
if you will.
Okay.
Let's go to when you were working for the restaurant called Mark's Prime Steakhouse.
Yes.
Now, on my previous podcast that I was on, we've talked about this, but you have not discussed this story, and you can sum it up. You don't have to tell it in complete detail, but I think Cut and Loose Chronicles needs to know your experience with waiting on none other than Shania Twain.
Oh, you want to hear the Shania Twain story?
I would like to hear it.
I love telling the Shania Twain story.
Yes.
You're going to get the whole story. Buckle up, everybody.
Before we start, Dana is Canadian. He's now American, but he is what we call a Can-Am. He's a legal...
Dual citizen.
Yes, dual citizen. And Shania Twain is a Canadian.
She is.
Do you think she's dual citizenship?
I'm sure she is.
Okay. Well, anyway, so where Dana is from, Nova Scotia, she's considered Canadian royalty.
Well, she that's anywhere in Canada.
Okay.
I mean, she's one of the, there's really probably only one person above her. and that's Celine.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yes. Oh, my
yes,
goodness.
yeah.
Oh, my God. Should we wait? Let's take a minute to pause. Stop.
Yeah.
Everyone, a moment of silence. Okay, Shania Twain. So she came into your restaurant, Mark's Prime, and you're going to wait on her? Oh, Dana's waving his hand in there because Moose broke wind. Was it Moose or Malou? Malou. Oh, we have two dogs and they both dual farted. Okay. All right, babe.
Let me set up the scenario for you. Okay. March 2014. It's a Friday night. The general manager of the restaurant comes up to me. It's not unusual. Pulls me aside and says, "Hey, listen, we've got a couple of our regulars, and we're in a town that's, I don't want to say small enough, but
people know Ocala, Florida.
But it's not like a giant city where you see new faces every day in the restaurant.
We're promoting Kentucky Derby champions.
Like, it's not a New York City,
right? Yeah,
you know, it's where you have a lot of regulars that come to your restaurant all the time. So my general manager says to me, I'm just going to call them the Smiths for the sake of this conversation, not their real last name. She said that, listen, the Smiths are coming in tonight, party of 4. We're going to put them in the wine room, which is the most prestigious area to sit. And they're coming in with another couple. And listen, I'll just tell you right now, the other couple is Shania Twain and her new husband. I said, okay, perfect. And look, I've been in the industry long enough. The reason that she asked me to take the table is because I'm not going to fangirl out, you know, like you do. And I'm just going to keep it professional. Now, that's not to say that I wasn't pretty excited about it, because being from Canada, living in Canada during, you know, sort of her beginning stages when she became very popular, she's very well known. And I think comes across as very likable. So
I would think that too.
I disappear. I make myself invisible for a minute and I start texting my family, you know, hey, listen, going to be taking care of Shania Twain in a few minutes. This is exciting. I'm going to keep it together, but it's a big deal. So she comes in. They come in. Party of 4.
And this is the new husband. This is not the piece of crap. What's his name? Bullwinkle?
This is not
Mutt Wang.
Mutt Lang. This is not Mutt Lang.
Chow Yun Fat?
Yeah. So
what's his name?
Mutt Lang.
That was the previous Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
This is the new guy.
This is the new guy.
Yeah.
And he is French Canadian. He has a very thick French accent.
Mutton chops?
I've never met mutton chops.
Okay.
So this is a new guy. So here's what I can tell you. I see Shania walking to the table, and it's unmistakably her. Like, she's all dolled up, and you know, like it's a Friday night, and she's out for dinner. Like, make no mistake, it's her.
Very petite.
Yes.
Very
like,
beautiful.
Probably 5 foot. Like, very, like, I was actually shocked at how small she was, or how little she was in stature. So, but you know, sometimes you see celebrities and you're like, oh, they look different when you see them on television. This was definitely her. So one of the things that I was aware of was that Shania Twain was a vegetarian. Now she's coming to a steakhouse. I have a very, very capable executive chef at this restaurant. I pull him aside. I say, hey, listen, chef, here's the deal. Here's who's coming in. It's a vegetarian. We got to come up with some options. He goes, Dana, this is perfect. I've been working on this new vegetarian flatbread. I think it'd be perfect. Let's just send one out to the table. Just compliments of the house, just to get some, we'll get some honest feedback. He said the most important thing is just ask her if there's something she's not a fan of, just ask her. We'll make sure.
So you all are really prepped and prepared to really show her some
ready.
Decent food and just like
we're going to come up with some like a nice veggie spinach and veggie pasta option. We got options. Mm-hmm. So they sit down, and you know, the way high-end restaurants work, it's cocktails first. It's always a cocktail first. It's never, oh, you're guys ready to order? It's.
I always say to my usually it's a man waiter, because I like to joke around with him. I'll say, I'll have a cocktail.
Yeah.
Or do you have any extra cocktail napkins?
I can tell you that never gets old.
Are you serious? I'm not the first.
No, of course we've heard that before.
Oh, geez.
So, round of drinks around the table. Okay. At this point, drinks are served. I feel like it's time to go over the dinner specials. I said, well, everybody at the table, I'd like to tell you just a moment about our chef's selections for this evening. And I was rattling them off. And I said, you know, one that we're doing exclusively for this table is the chef is preparing a wonderful vegetarian flatbread. And I kind of look at Shania as I say that. Well, she's not looking at me, but I'm just looking. And I said, we're going to actually send one of these out compliments of the house because we just really like to get your feedback on it and let you know, something we made special just for this table.
Very swift.
Something we made special for the table. I said, but before I tell the chef that I'm ready, I just want to ensure that there's nothing on here that you're not a fan of. And I look at Shania and say, so is there anything that we can leave off of the vegetarian flatbread? And she looks at me for a second, doesn't say anything, and she turns to her husband and she speaks to him in French and says, tell the waiter no rice, no onions, and no ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Now, here's one other thing that Shania probably doesn't know about me.
Oui.
There's something that Shania probably doesn't know about me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Canadian. And when I was in school, French was a mandatory class that you had to take starting in the second grade.
Very difficult.
So I can understand the language a lot better than I can speak it because I haven't, for more than 30 years, haven't had to speak it. But I understood what she was saying. And so he turns to look at me and he wants to say, my wife. And I said, got it. No rice, no onions, no ratatouille. Got it. And
Ratatouille.
And Shania just kind of looks at me like, and I disappear. And I walk back and I go, God, that was
horrible.
That was odd.
Yeah.
That's actually never happened to me.
Disappointing.
This actually never happened. I've had situations where, a couple, it's dinner and the gentleman will order, the lady will have, but it's not one of these situations where I'm directly asking someone a question and they choose not to answer me, but instead tell their husband to answer for them. It's never happened before. So anyway, okay, you know what? All right, shake it off. Shake it off.
You always order for me, though.
I know I do. I know. Listen, shake it off. It's time for, all right? So the appetizer comes out. Hey, everybody eats it. Everybody likes it. The vegetarian flatbread's a big hit. It's time to take the order. Okay? Because everything, listen, high-end restaurant, to take your time. It's a 2.5-hour experience, okay? Appetizer's already been on the table. We haven't even taken the orders yet because you take your time. So I go around, ladies first. Okay? Of course, I'm going to start with Shania. She's the guest of honor. And I said, and for your entree this evening. She looks at me with kind of a scowl on her face, like, how dare you ask me another question? Don't you know what's about to happen? And she looks at her husband and in French says, tell the waiter, I will take linguine with sautéed spinach, extra garlic, and olive oil. And he looks at me and he goes, I said, got it. And I go to the other people. The other couple that are regulars there that know me, you can see them sinking into their chairs. Like,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
You can't speak French, but you can understand French.
Moi parle un petit français. Like, I can speak a little bit. Like, drop me in the middle of Paris, I'll find my way out.
Let's do that again.
Moi parle un petit français.
God bless you.
Yeah. So orders are in. They order a very nice bottle of wine. I do wine service at the table. It's wonderful.
How did they say that in French?
No. The other gentleman ordered it. Okay. $300 bottle of wine.
What was the wine called?
Came as special select.
God bless you.
Napa Valley.
Gazoon tight.
So I'm now kind of really rattled at this point. I'm disappointed. It's like, not that she was a hero of mine, but you always hear they don't meet your heroes. You're always going to be disappointed. But this was different. Like I had her albums, like I knew her music.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
Shania Twain. Whose bed have your boots been under?
Like this was my sister's.
When that song came out, I was, your sister and I were the same age.
Wedding song for my sister,
Whose bed have your boots been under? Is your sister's wedding song?
From This Moment.
Was it?
I think so.
From this moment.
Actually, no, I'm totally wrong. Lisa, if you're listening, you know what? Cut all of that out.
No,
listen,
I will not.
I'm not referencing my sister's failed marriage. Cut all that out.
No.
Please.
She doesn't listen.
No, please.
No.
Please.
No.
But I'm a fan. And I'm really upset about this. And I'm just so, how can you treat somebody like that? Like, I've heard the term diva before. And you hear about these people are divas. Mariah Carey's a diva. J-Lo's a diva. Don't look them in the eyes and all that stuff. But not Shania. not the good old down home country Canadian
we
girl.
all had our backs when her husband mutton chops did what he did to her, and we're all like, but you never know who people are. You really don't.
So dinner is served. Okay, everybody seems to be enjoying that. I'm going around. At this point, I've decided just not to really engage with her. So I'm asking the other couple, how is everything? Do you have everything you need? Looking at her husband, and he, by the way, to his credit, nice guy. Like, he wasn't a dick. He was just very, and kind of a strange looking guy.
Tell me how.
Like
Describe.
He had kind of like, hard to explain it. I genuinely don't know his ethnicity. I don't know if he was Greek or what is, but he had kind of like
dreadlocks.
No, I don't want to use the term like an afro, but he had like kind of really, really tight, puffy, curly hair. I don't know.
Like Conway Twitty.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But it was
Richard Simmons.
Yeah, it was hard to explain. Yeah, maybe like Richard Simmons. So
was he wearing red and white striped silk shorts?
No, but he was kind of an odd looking dude.
Did you ever notice that Richard Simmons supposed to be this fitness guy, sweating to the oldies, have all these people after him, but he wasn't fit. I mean, he was fit, but he lost all this weight. But he wasn't cut. He wasn't like gym people look today. He was like a skinny, flabby guy. And he was representing physical fitness.
For me, it doesn't get better than Billy Blanks and Tybo. But listen, we can go a whole nother discussion there.
May Chuck Norris rest in peace.
Yes.
Continue.
Sayonara, sensei. So dinner's winding down. Okay. It's time for dessert and after dinner drinks and coffee. So Mr. Smith, he's ordered some desserts for the tables. They just bring us like 4 of your best desserts.
What are we going to do about all those info commercials? Where's Christy Brinkley going to do? What is she going to do?
Oh.
Desserts, go.
All right. Mr. Smith orders 4 desserts for the table. Just pick the 4 best, put them on there. Just give everybody a fork spoon. We're going to enjoy it. Start taking drink orders. Mrs. Smith's going to have coffee. Mr. Smith's going to have an espresso. Shania's husband's having, I don't remember, coffee. Okay. And I go to Shania and I say, would you like anything to drink with dessert?
Did you say it like that?
And I said, would you like anything to drink with dessert?
With your neck stiff and your...
just kind of like this is my last shot.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at me and she goes, I'll have herbal mint tea. And I said, well, we don't have that.
Ooh, ouch.
And she goes, nothing then.
I said, why is she acting like this?
I said, very well. At that point, because I've decided at that point, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, I don't have to grovel at your feet. Like, listen, just because you're a famous singer, you're also a fucking bitch. So I don't have to worry about ever impressing you, ever. Because you're not somebody I ever want to see again.
I wonder what Wolfgang Puck thinks about this. Mutton chops. So
the situation is we bring the desserts. And 3 of the 4 people, not Shania, they all take their forks. They're all getting ready to take it, and Shania says, I'm ready to go. Let's go. She stands up. They leave.
Jeez.
It was awful. It was awful.
To sum it all up, though, how did it end? How did the night end for you?
Disappointed. Although the husband paid the bill and he tipped really, really well, almost like he has to do this almost every time they go out to eat. So, yeah.
Well,
on the flip side of that,
yeah.
if I could, the very next night I waited on Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, how'd that go?
And if there was a polar opposite experience, that would have been like Kelly Clarkson came in with her. I think they're separated now. Her husband. Or did he? I think he passed.
He passed away.
Yeah, he did pass.
Yeah, they're definitely separated.
Yeah, but they were separated prior to that. But he did pass not too long ago, if I remember.
Yes, he did. Which is also Reba McEntire's stepson.
What's the last name? Something like that. It doesn't matter. Look, it was 9:45 on a Saturday night, and I just got sat at a table. And I was really disappointed because we close at 10, but like I said, it's 2.5 hour dining experience. So nobody wants to take a table that late, especially at a restaurant like that, because you're going to be there past midnight. to make things worse, I look over at the table, and it's some lady wearing a ripped up red flannel jacket, some cowboy looking dude, a kid in a high chair, and a couple looks like 12 or 13-year-old girls. And I went, oh, Jesus, this is not this. And I'm not trying to judge, but this does not look like the typical table that will come in for a high-end, very expensive restaurant. And I'll admit to prejudging, which I wish I hadn't, we're
human. You're human.
But I think it was more of a combination of I was disappointed that I was going to be there, and look, I was to make money. And I looked at that table. I said, well, they're not going to spend any money. Mm-hmm. So I go up to the table.
Did they want herbal mint tea?
Listen, I get into character. Okay. It's a good evening. The lady who is visibly pregnant, has her hair in a bun and has no makeup on. She looks at me and she says, I'm sorry, what's your name? I said, my name is Dana. She goes, Dana, we thought you closed at 11. We didn't realize you closed at 10. And I said, oh, no, it's not a big deal. She goes, no. We're going to order right now. We're going to be in and out. I said, please, no, it's totally fine. She goes, Dana, I used to do this work. I know.
I love her.
I said, I know exactly I said, now, mind you, I have no idea who she is, because she's not all done up.
That's also something else I love about her.
And she said, all right, so we're going to order, we're going to do family style. So bring us 2 fillets, ribeye, some lobster tails.
That's family style?
Like, there's going to put a bunch of stuff in the middle of the table, and they're all just going to share it.
Okay.
And I'm just like, and she's, all of a sudden in my head, I'm hearing cha-ching, 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 like they're ordering so much. And her then husband, he was a super nice guy. He goes, I just want a Budweiser. I said, of course, yeah. And she goes, and the lady goes, nothing for me. And she pats her belly. She's like, I'll take an iced tea. I said, yeah, okay, you got it. And so I'm putting the order in, and our little hostess comes running up to me, and she goes, do you know who that is? I said, no, I don't. And she goes, that's Kelly Clarkson. And I went, that's not Kelly Clarkson. I said, I watched American Idol. That's not Kelly Clarkson. She goes, no, that's really her. I said, I'll prove this. So I pull out my phone and I Google Kelly Clarkson's husband. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, that dude pops up. And I went, oh, shit. Okay. Well, I didn't break character. I never went back to the table and be like, I know who you are. Because that's just not the level of professionalism that I go back to the table. Food's coming out. She goes, Dana, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nova Scotia, Halifax. She goes, oh, I've been there a few times. Love that city. I'm thinking, yeah, I bet you have. Yeah. And so they eat, wrap up what they have left, and she says, we're going to come in next week. Can you be our server? I said, sure. She goes, be like 10 or 12 of us. I said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the husband pays the bill. I think the bill was like $400. He tipped me $500.
Were you happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he tipped you. I'm thinking he rounded up to 500.
No.
He gave you 500.
He tipped me 500.
Very good.
And so, whereas the night before I had lost my faith in humanity,
right,
because of how I was treated by somebody, the next day I was reminded, oh, wait, there's way more people in this world that are kind. And it doesn't matter what your status is.
Never heard one bad thing about Kelly Clarkson.
And I could tell you she's... like Travolta, genuine.
Okay.
Absolutely genuine. So, and then throughout the years there, I waited on Matthew Perry. Can I tell you a funny story about the Matthew Perry? I'll be really quickly.
Do it.
So,
and then we're going to go down bad tippers, bad celebrity tippers. I'm going to quiz you. Okay.
So, we get word that Matthew Perry's coming in. And that's like a Tuesday. Okay. Now this is 2016, 2017. He's in recovery, all right? Or whatever recovery was for him at that point. So he wasn't drinking. So he comes in and he walks right by me. And it's one of those things where, you watch Friends, you know who this person is, and to see them and walk by you in real life is...
I actually have experienced walking past Matthew Perry as well.
He looks exactly like he does.
Yes,
like
he does.
It's not one of those situations.
Right.
And when I was waiting on the table, he had that. You can tell that the character of Chandler, like he channeled that, like, it probably wasn't even written the way that he played that character. He created that character with a lot of who he was.
Right.
And he's asking me about the steaks on the menu. He goes, "No, listen, just be honest. Be honest. Is this good? I mean, really? I mean, is it good? Is it worth it?" And so we had a really strict policy about not letting people know if there's someone famous in the restaurant. We had a situation where Tommy Lee from Motley Crue was there one time, and the word got out. And before you knew it, there was 100 people standing outside the restaurant trying to get in because they wanted to meet Tommy Lee.
Yes. And
I can tell you a fun story about him having dinner with him one night another time. So we are very, very strict. Well, we had this waiter. I'm going to call him Bill for the sake of this story, not his real name. And we had this one waiter that night. I'm going to call him Bill, not his real name. And Bill was a scallywag. He was always hitting on the hostesses. He was always, even if he was waiting on a group of ladies, he'd be trying to get phone numbers, like just all the stuff you're not supposed to do. Well, I happened to pop outside for a quick smoke break. And I happened to open up my Facebook, and Bill and I were friends on Facebook.
Bill Cersei. Dana's one of Dana's co-hosts.
This is not Bill Cersei. This is a made-up name.
I will take that out.
So I see a Facebook post that says, "Wow, Matthew Perry's at my restaurant right now. He's a lot fatter in person." And I almost dropped my phone. And I was like, I came running up to Bill. I said, "You got to take that down. You have to take that down right now. First of all, don't tell anybody who's here. If you want to comment on, like, last night so-and-so came in, you can do that, but you can't be like, I can't believe how fat he is in person." Now,
what were they thinking? That's terrible.
It was
for
too
publicity.
late. It was too late.
Advertising.
It was too late.
Oh my gosh.
Management, somebody else saw it. Management came up and said, "Hey, take your apron off. Get the fuck out."
Exactly.
Get the fuck out.
Was it a young person?
Yeah. I mean, he was younger than me. He was probably in his late 20s.
Why would he say that?
Because that generation doesn't think there's any consequences for what you
close.
post online.
At the time, that's our generation. If it was
10 years ago.
Yeah. That they don't get off the hook for that stuff.
Nobody thinks there's any accountability for stuff they post online. Have you seen some of the shit that people post online?
Yes, but that's probably more than 10 years ago, just to let you know.
Yeah, no, it was 2016.
Okay.
I remember it was 2016.
That's about the same kind of time that I ran into Matthew Perry. Yeah. I was in an airport in Denver, and the passengers were coming off of the tarmac, and then we had to pass each other in the hallway, and because the flights were delayed and we had to get a move on, and I walked past him. He looked at me. I looked at him. I went, "Oh," but he looked at me like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey." We passed each other. I nudged. I think it was my mom that was with me. I said, "That was Matthew Perry." I just walked past Matthew Perry. Is either mom or was it Ashley? Ashley from Ashley Robbins.
Yes, Ashley Robbins.
And I said, "That was Matthew Perry." So, Shania always wanted to be a songwriter. She never thought she was good enough to be a lead vocalist.
That's awful. Terrible for her. That's a terrible story. Yeah, tell me more about her.
Well, she had a bad childhood.
Yeah, that's awful.
I know. I obviously, before these stories, was a big Shania Twain fan. After hearing the story that you told, it's hard for me to love her like I did. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm going to give you a quiz, Dana. Okay,
Let's go.
So I'm going to go down and I'm going to quiz you on if you think that these celebrities, based off of BuzzFeed, are good tippers or bad tippers.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's start with Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe. I'm gonna say now. Listen, is my only answer is good tipper or bad tipper or average tipper?
You could say.
I would say Rob Lowe's an above average tipper.
Okay, I served Rob Lowe at 1 Fifth Avenue in New York City in the early 80s.
Well, time out. In the early 80s.
It doesn't matter if you're either a tomato. You're either good or you're not. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter what the decade it is. You're either good or you're not.
Okay.
He left a $100 tip on a tiny bill.
Love to hear that. I bet
he was very funny, very nice, and respectful to me and the staff.
That's great, but I'm happy to hear that. But people evolve. Rob Lowe, teenage 19-year-old Rob Lowe versus 50-year-old Rob Lowe.
So let's see. So the year is in the 80s, it said. So in the 80s, Rob Lowe was in his 20s.
Yeah, great.
So, okay. So that's even better.
Yeah,
right?
great.
Don't you think?
Happy to hear that.
All right. Jay-Z. What do you think about Jay-Z?
Ooh. Jay-Z strikes me as somebody who's probably a 20% tipper.
That would be, would you say 20% tipper is a good tipper?
I would say that's just the industry standard. You leave 20%. You can't complain about 20. I can, because that's an average tip. And if you tip me 20%, you're telling me that I just gave you an average experience as a waiter. So I take it personally, but that's me.
I also agree with you as a former server. Jay-Z came into a club where I was working bottle service.
Oh.
Not only was he rude, but he also did not even leave a tip.
Oof.
Okay. How about Bruce Willis?
Oh, gosh. Bruce Willis. I've heard stories, and don't get me wrong, we love Bruno, okay?
I love him too.
We love him, okay? But I've heard stories.
You did?
That he's kind of a dick.
Really?
Okay? But for some reason, I'm going to say he's a good tipper.
Bruce Willis always tipped extremely well and signed autographs for almost everyone. Great guy. I'm really sorry for his deteriorated health.
Sorry.
I love Bruce.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that too. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know who Irene Cara is?
Irene Cara. She's saying Flashdance. What a feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have rhythm now. Okay. Do you think she's a good tip or not?
I'm going to say she probably made a lot of money in the early 80s. I don't know how that translated, so I don't know when this person who's going to say when she took care of me. I'm going to say no.
Okay, I was working as a cocktail waitress in the 80s in Maryville, Indiana, when Irene Cara, she came in with several others a few minutes before closing. They ordered pina coladas, daiquiris, and a variety of other fancy drinks. As I moved towards them, one of the people brushed up against whole tray over. I cleaned up the mess, got them all new drinks, and didn't come home until even after 4 a.m. They tipped me $0.
Yeah, that's awful.
Okay, how about John Legend?
John Legend, the singer, strikes me as a really nice guy. I'm going to say he's a good tipper.
Okay. I'm a waitress, and John Legend came in for dinner. He and his manager ordered a lot of food and drinks, maybe $250. They left me a $250 tip and signed an autograph. Love it.
Perfect. Love that.
And then we've got, do you know Benson Boone?
I don't know if I know who that is.
I served Benson Boone and he tipped $1,000.
Jeez.
How about Daniel Day-Lewis?
Daniel Day-Lewis, 3-time Academy Award winner, Daniel Day-Lewis. My left foot's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes, that's the guy. Gangs of New York, the butcher, Daniel Day.
I am going to say that he is not a good tipper, but I'm going to preface this by saying where he is from, tipping is not part of the culture.
He left 50%.
Nice. I'm way off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could have been a $3 tab.
Yep.
No, it says that he was really nice. He and his wife, it was 10 years ago, and he left 50%. It's not bad.
No.
You know, how Billie Eilish,
She's got to be a good tipper.
it says does not tip ever.
Oh.
And why?
Oh.
Why would she not? It doesn't say anything about her on here, what it says, but it says on here. I'm on BuzzFeed.
All right.
So John Wayne, just to sum it up, he's a 25 to 30% tipper.
Okay.
We've got Bob Hope, who is not a good tipper. Okay. Very, very bad. How about this one? I think you are not going to be surprised. Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer. Well, I would be surprised if she's a bad tipper. Is she a bad tipper?
She's a good tipper.
I was going to say, yes. I would be surprised.
Let's do one more. Let's do Gene Hackman.
Boy, I have no idea on that one.
Well, may he rest in peace.
Yes, I have no idea.
He was a tipper of 25%.
Okay.
So he was just a little bit above average.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to do another one. Steve Harvey.
Oh, Steve Harvey got up. Listen,
he was with Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric the Entertainer. So both of those guys, stand-up comedians, worked their way through the clubs. They have to be decent tippers.
Okay, listen to this. I once waited on Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer during their Kings of Comedy tour. Harvey was rude and kept demanding things out of order. Cedric must have had enough because he looked at him and said, "Man, have you never been in a nice restaurant before?" I had a hard time not busting out laughing. But I was grateful he stuck up for me and that Harvey wasn't the one paying. We'll always be a fan of Cedric the Entertainer after that night. Steve Harvey, not so much. That's disappointing to me. Gosh, that's so disappointing. I just feel like
when you look like someone like Cedric the Entertainer, okay, and Steve Harvey, both of these guys got their chops doing stand-up. And when you work in stand-up, you're working at a lot of like little clubs and bars and stuff like that where tipping is part of the culture. So when you're starting out as a stand-up comedian, you don't want to get that reputation of being cheap because the people that work there, they'll badmouth it. You can get a bad reputation before your name even takes off. So
who's my guy from the Peaky Blinders? Cillian Murphy?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. He's also, he doesn't tip at all.
Again, now to be fair.
He's been in the States and knows our culture long enough to know what America does. These actors know America.
Yeah. No, I know. Oh, listen, I know. Like when I eventually do go to Europe and I go to different countries, I'm going to research some of the customs.
Unless it's considered rude, that would change everything.
I got a buddy of mine who lives in London, and he said to me, when he was working in a restaurant, their eyes lit up whenever Americans would come in. Because Americans always were really
who
good
doesn't
tipper.
Want to be rewarded? Who doesn't want to be, over here, our servers, they count on those tips. I'm a stylist, I count on my tips too. It makes the difference.
Well, my sister Lisa, this is many, many years ago, she got a job as a cocktail server at a bar in the Halifax International Airport. Now, when Canadians are known for not being the best tippers, a couple of reasons why. Number one, the servers up there do get paid more an hour. Listen, I'm a good tipper, but that's only because I've lived in America for 30 years.
I'm going to tell you are a good tipper. Yeah. And I'm a good tipper.
So, but all she waited on was American businessmen that were flying over to Europe. She was making six figures doing that job. Between what she made an hour in tips.
Right.
She did it for many, many years because why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Okay, so listen, we're going to tighten this episode up, but there's a few things I want to tell all of our listeners. And yes, you're going to be viewers too. I haven't put anything out there on YouTube in a while because simply I don't know how to work the equipment. My executive producer kind of forgot about me and really I don't know how to do it without him. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Dana Buckler. But anyway, he's got his new job. He has been busy. Tune into the Dana Buckler show. It's fantastic. He's put out some good new material. And also he's got a whole new, what do you call it on YouTube? A new series.
New series, yeah.
To where he will go on and
forgotten 80s classics.
Yes. And it's amazing. And so I also would like to promote mine and Dana's YouTube channel called The Cougar and the Fox, which is where we go out to the casinos and mainly the Tampa, the Seminole Hard Rock. But we give, I hate to say gambling tips, but we give you the ins and outs of the slot machines. A lot of those superstitions that are out there, we kind of clear a few things up on our own experiences, right, Dana?
Yeah, and you just reminded me of the last time we took a trip down to the Tampa Hard Rock and we stopped at the Love's gas station.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, this is funny.
This is so funny.
I always have interesting things happen
always.
to me.
You always do.
Like a year ago, we always like, from where we live, the Tampa Hard Rock's just over an hour away. And so we always stop at this truck stop / gas station before we get on the interstate because we take side roads to get to the interstate. And a year ago, I went in there and they have 3 urinals set up and I'm happened to pick the middle one.
Again, he's got a very big head.
Okay, so I pick the middle one and then all of a sudden 2 Florida State troopers come in, they grab the ones on either side of me. And at the time, we were driving the little Nissan 370Z convertible.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there
Sweet
just
car.
minding my business.
Attractive car.
And the one state trooper looks at me and goes, "That your red sports car out there?" I went, "Uh-huh." He goes, "Uh-huh."
As you guys are holding each other's wieners. No, you're holding your own wiener. But you guys are holding wieners.
Yeah. And so...
so you're peeing in the urinal. You got a state trooper on each side.
Yeah.
And so y'all are holding your wieners and you're peeing.
And they're asking me if that's my car. We better be careful down there. We'll get you.
Dude, what do you think they're really trying to say to you?
Yeah, I don't know. But that wasn't the crazy story. The crazy story happened the last time we went down. Okay? I don't know what time of day it was. Might have been early. I don't know. I don't remember. I walk into the men's room, and this men's room is big because it's a truck stop. And there's a line, and I've never seen a line before. There must have been like 5 people in line. So I'm standing in line, and there's this big burly guy standing in front of me, and I'm minding my business. And he turns around and he goes, "You need to take a shit?" And I went, "Excuse me?" He goes, "You need to take a shit." I said, "No." He goes, "This is the shitting line." I went, "What?" And I realized that all the stalls are full. All you see is the feet. They're all full.
And pants around the feet.
And pants around, and underwear around the ankles. And I'm like, and he goes, "Pissers are free." And he points over to the urinals, and they're all free. He goes, "This is the shitting line."
Oh, God.
And I went, "Thank you."
I remember you coming out of the bathroom, and I was checking out. We were getting our coffees, and I remember you having this look on your face like, "I got to tell you something." And we got out, and we went down to the Tampa Hard Rock. So please go on to YouTube and follow the Cougar and the Fox. You'll see a Cougar and a Fox logo, and that's us. Follow us. Please follow Cut and Loose Chronicles podcast. Please, it's very important. And of course, the Dana Buckler Show. And we're gonna wrap this up. I wanted to tell everyone what we've got coming in the future. We've got some. Dana and I are going to be going to Las Vegas, literally in a few weeks, to where we are going to put out some new Cougar and the Fox material and bring more material for you guys for the podcast. So, in closing, I'm back. Here I am. I never left.
Sipowitz.
We are your future. Thanks, guys, for listening. And until next time. What's so funny? We are your future. Thought I was gone. No, I just paused. Still here, still built, still giving you cause. I'm back in your ears. Back in your feed. Your favorite podcast, giving you what you need. Don't worry about me. I ain't going nowhere because I'm back. Hit play, sit back, and enjoy the air.